Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Chit Chatting with Jocelyn. I'm your host, Jocelyn, and we have a very happy show for you. As you know, sometimes I do get really into the politics. I get into the intenseness of the world and reporting what's going on, and it's good to have a show that's positive, that's happy, that's joyful, that's full of light. And no, I didn't go all woo-woo on you. That's what my brother calls it, woo-woo. There is just another whole part of the world that we don't take the time to embrace, to look at, to learn about, or to care about. And so for the past year, I've been learning about crystals and light and healing and vibrations and sound, because that's everything around us in the world. And we may live in a city and live in an apartment and everything's concrete and tarmac and we wear rubber shoes and all sorts of polyester clothes. And we lose the joy, the feeling of a nice cotton shirt or cotton socks or cotton underwear or a beautiful Egyptian cotton sheets on your bed or a towel, which all just are a great sensation on the skin. We've gotten so fast and furious and shoving food in our mouth and not enjoying the taste and not literally stopping to smell the roses. Do you ever feel where you're like, you feel like it's an anxiety attack, but it's not? And 9 times out of 10, it's not. And you just don't know what to do with yourself. You're just sort of going 90 miles an hour inside of you. You need to go outside, take your shoes and socks off, and stand in the grass. And if it's snowing, because this is New England, literally go hug a tree. Life force. Not weird. The truth. The vibrations of the world. The vibrations of paper. The vibrations of a stone. The vibration of sound. The wind. Do you go outside and stand on your deck or stand outside when the wind is blowing and just feel like it's just washing everything away from you? That's what we're talking about. And again, we've got Donna Judge here, and she is a light healer, knows quite a bit about crystals, their function, their pretty, how they can help you, and vibrations. How do we raise our vibration? You know, when you're angry and you're upset and you're frustrated, the vibration of your body is low. And so you feel low and depressed and despondent. But if you can raise your vibrations, you are a happier person. You attract positivity. Am I correct?
Absolutely correct, Jocelyn.
Yay.
Yes.
I'm getting there.
So lately I've been hearing people say, you know, raise your vibration, raise your vibration. Well, I mean, you can't stay in that state constantly.
Correct.
So the real trick is being able to raise your average vibration level bit by bit. You know, you can't stay there all the time. You're only human.
Correct.
But when you get into those low vibration moments, you learn to recognize it and you learn how to shift it and increase your frequency and your vibration to get out of that rut.
How do people increase their vibration? I know one way. To some people, prayer raises your vibration. Some people, you know, chanting very positive, reinforcing, lifting sentences, phrases.
Yes.
How else can we do it?
So another way you can do it is by going to your favorite place and thinking about everything that you're grateful for.
I like that.
Because oftentimes when you get into that mood and nothing's going right and you just feel like blood and, you know, you just want to say, chuck it for the day. If you take a few minutes for yourself and just kind of sit quietly and pray or meditate or whatever works for you.
Yep.
And concentrate on what you're thankful for, instead of what you're angry at and what you don't have.
Mm-hmm.
And then bit by bit by bit, all of a sudden life's not so bad. And you can face the day again.
Is that where silver lining came from, I'm thinking?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's as simple as, you know, to remove yourself from where the stress is, remove yourself from the room, from the person, the situation, and just saying, you know, oh, I just love this cup of coffee. Mm-hmm. Or I love this cup of tea. Or, you know, just go outside for 5 minutes and say, wow, the sun feels really good on my face, or it smells nice here. I mean, it can be really, I don't want to say that any of that's silly, but it can be that simple.
Oh, yeah. Remove yourself from the situation. Get out of that energy exchange. Mm-hmm. Because whether you realize it or not, anytime you're interacting with someone or in a situation, there's energy happening. Mm-hmm. Good, bad, indifferent, high, low, it's there.
And it's there all the time.
And you have more control over it than you realize.
Mm-hmm. And you don't have to, if somebody's having a really bad day, you don't have to get down on that level. You don't have to, the word we used the other day was commiserate. You don't have to become their equal or regale something that was worse than theirs that happened to you.
Try to outdo them.
Outdo them. I mean, why would you want to outdo somebody's suffering or outdo somebody's problem?
Because, you know, that makes you the winner. You know.
No, thank you.
Not a contest I want to win.
No.
You know? So, I mean, I've had really miserable days where everything went wrong, and if I had the opportunity, I went and took a nap. Mm-hmm. I just hit the reset button and said, okay, peace out. I am starting over. And it works.
Yes.
9 times out of 10, unless you're really in a deep, dark place, simple things like that work.
Correct.
Taking care of yourself, making yourself a cup of tea, you know, taking a hot bubble bath, whatever it takes to just kind of tweak it a little bit.
Watch a feel-good movie.
Exactly. Or sometimes, if you need it, watch a tearjerker. Get it out of your system. Say, okay, I'm allowing myself to do this. And then, gee, on the other side of that, hey, things aren't quite so bad.
Correct.
So
whatever you've manifested in your head, it's not quite to the extent
and people
that
don't
it's magnified.
Realize how much of it is just in their head. How much, I mean, so they always say the acronym for fear, F-E-A-R, can mean false evidence appearing real.
Wow. Yep. False evidence appearing real. Again, in your head.
Yep. You build it up to be this monstrosity of a thing you've got to deal with, and then you worry, and complain, and doubt it, and dread it, and then all of a sudden,
it either resolved itself or it wasn't quite what you thought.
It wasn't worth worrying about. So there's people don't realize how much control they actually have over their life, over their energy, over their attitude, because we have all been programmed to believe it's somebody else's fault.
Correct.
And not take responsibility for our own actions and feelings and thoughts.
And your own decisions.
Exactly.
And just because you made a wrong decision does not mean you're wrong or you're bad. It simply means you made a bad decision, so take another minute next time.
Yep. Learn from it.
And don't do it again. And it really is that simple. But if you're continually making bad decisions, then, you know, you might need to reevaluate your...
if you continually find yourself in the same situation,
you should look at where you are, who you're with, and look at yourself and your reaction.
Yeah. Exactly. You know, I keep, attracting
such and such a person.
person.
Yep.
Well, gee, what is it about you that brings them around. And again, that goes back to energy and vibration. What frequency are you vibrating at?
Right.
Are you at, woe is me? Nobody likes me, everybody treats me bad. Or are you at, hey, I'm a worthy person. I don't need to put up with that from you.
Correct. And the other thing is when you find somebody that zaps your energy, and that does happen, you find yourself in a conversation or in a meeting or something, and you are finding yourself just struggling, that your energy is being zapped, that somebody is just, insulting you, and that you need to be able to say, enough. Could we please stop with the personal jabs or insults or whatever? And if it doesn't stop, you get up and you walk away. And we have to become more comfortable with, thank you, our time is up.
Right.
I'm leaving, or
No.
this is a bit too much, and you're not listening to me, so let's pick it up a little later.
Right.
And literally remove yourself from the situation. But everybody is so afraid, oh, they might not like me. Oh, they're going to hate me. Oh, I'm going to look bad. Really? But you want to take the abuse? And I don't mean anything huge.
No.
I'm not talking physical, but, digging at you, insinuating, insulting, putting you down so they feel better. Remove yourself from the situation. Always. It's not your job to fix them. And it's not your job to school or scold them. It's your job to protect yourself and make sure that you are safe at all times. And that's in feeling positive, nurturing, and that you have a worth.
And it's called establishing healthy boundaries that you won't let people cross.
Yep.
Respecting yourself enough to say, hey, listen, you can't treat me that way. I won't allow it. You don't have to attack the person. You don't have to put them down or yell at them or criticize them. Just say, hey, this isn't right for me.
Yep. This isn't working.
Bye-bye.
Yep. Or,
Yeah.
oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot about that appointment. I need to go.
Right. Right. And it's really tough when you've been raised to be a caregiver or a nurturer or a people pleaser.
People pleaser is one of the most difficult.
Yeah. So you feel like everybody else around you is your responsibility and their happiness comes before your happiness and you have to take care of them and da-da-da-da-da-da.
No.
I'm old enough now that I can say no.
Yeah. One of the smallest words that many people don't use, no. N-O. No.
Yeah.
And be perfectly at home saying that. It's not bad. It's just, no thank you, I don't want that drink. No thank you, I don't want to go there. No thank you, I don't want to have that conversation. No, it's not convenient right now. No, I'm not interested, thank you. In whatever it is.
Simple.
And we have to learn to say no, and we need to stick to it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So
Yep.
talk to me about crystals. We've got some purple ones here, and I know that's amethyst.
Right.
And we've got the pink Himalayan and rose quartz.
Yep.
I'm not sure what this is.
That is labradorite.
Labradorite.
And it comes from Labrador in Canada.
Oh.
And this is a polished stone. It is very iridescent. As you turn it, the light hits it differently, and you can see gold and blue and green and shimmery kind of.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
It's a very good energetic stone and protective stone. Most of the stones have either uplifting qualities or protective qualities.
Okay, and when you say protective, you mean?
I mean like the shungite you've talked about on other shows. So most of the black stones are very protective and insulating, or they ward off bad energy, or they help to dissipate it. This onyx that I'm wearing, a few years ago I was called to look into onyx, and I had just gone through a divorce. And I was like, well, what is onyx? What are the metaphysical properties of this stone? And I'd heard of it, but I'd never really looked into it before. And I'm reading through the description in the book, and it's a protective stone, and it's the birthstone of the month of August. And I'm like, oh, that's when I was born. It's August. I didn't know that. So I keep reading, and I get down to the very last line of the description, and it says, helps recovery from bad relationships.
Well, talk about
Timing.
very appropriate in timing.
Yes. Yes. So I'm like, oh, that's why I am drawn to onyx at this point in my life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, and then when you start learning about crystals, they're kind of like potato chips. Mm-hmm. Can't just have one.
Right.
You know?
And instead of coming in flavors, they come in colors.
Exactly. They come in different colors, and they come in different shapes and sizes, and polished or rough, or, worked into jewelry, or these little trees, and this little angel was carved out of rose quartz.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
they can be candles.
Yep. That has a little core board out of it for a candle. And those are both part of geodes. So if you've ever seen like this gray stone, mm-hmm. and they cut it in half, or they smash it in half, and you open it up and you see all these pretty little crystals that are formed inside.
They are very pretty, and they're also very sharp.
Yep.
I found that out the hard way.
You don't want to grab them too tight.
No.
So with amethyst, that is a stone that helps you connect with your third eye.
Okay.
And psychic phenomenon. It helps with your connection to source, spirit, God, however you want to see that. Mm-hmm. And the little tree that's part amethyst and part tiger eye. Tiger eye is another good stone for increasing your psychic abilities. Okay. Or your intuition.
Your intuition.
Yep.
Your ability to hear.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And when you hear best is when you're silent.
Correct. Listening.
Exactly.
And hearing.
Yep.
Something we don't do as well.
No. And so many people, prefer to talk, and they forget that they have 2 eyes and 2 ears and only 1 mouth.
Correct. So you should be listening and hearing and observing what else is going on.
Exactly. Yep.
I know people get nervous when I'm quiet, which people don't think I am, but both you and I can sit in silence.
Right.
Because there's a time and there's a place. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing wrong with it. You don't have to fill the silence.
Exactly.
And yet that's another little thing that we need to learn. Mm-hmm. Silence is golden. Yeah.
Yep.
So what is this? It's white, and it has sort of a yellowy stone on it, and then the little crystals on the top seem to be the same, maybe?
Yes.
Okay.
So that is citrine.
Citrine. Oh.
So citrine is the stone of abundance.
Oh.
Whether it's money or other things, mm-hmm. Good vibes, good relationships. So citrine, according to tradition, is best placed in the money corner of your house, which I believe, if I'm not a feng shui expert, but I believe I've heard it's the north corner of your house.
All right.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then the rose quartz, the pink.
Mm-hmm.
That's the stone of unconditional love.
Ah, so you want one of those in every room.
Right. Right.
Yes.
I mean, it's very calming and soothing, and some of these crystals, people put them in their water to get the energy and the vibration of the crystal.
In the water?
So the water bottles that are fruit infusers, mm-hmm. they make them for crystals also. So you can toss a few crystals into your water and have that kind of, affect your water quality.
Interesting.
Yep. But you don't want to do that with any of the stones that are based on salt, like the Himalayan salt.
Yes.
Or the selenite, anything that's crystallized salt,
you don't want in your drink.
Dissolve in water. Right. But with the Himalayan pink salt, they have salt caves all over New Hampshire now.
You and I've been to one in Salem.
Yep.
And that is really an interesting hour. I think it's usually about an hour, isn't it?
Yep.
to go in there and in complete silence and perfect lighting with the walls all covered in the pink Himalayan crystals
and lit, and usually they play soft music, and they have a machine called a halo generator.
Okay.
So they take and they pulverize the salt in the machine, and then they aerosolize it and they spray it in the air.
Oh.
So while we were sitting there relaxing in the zero gravity chair and listening to the soft music and basically taking a nap,
Yes.
we were breathing in microscopic salt, which is actually good for your lungs.
Absolutely.
Helps with breathing problems, helps kill critters and germs and bugs and whatever.
Viruses.
Yeah. So it helps with your breathing.
Oh,
to inhale.
Interesting. Well, if you think about it, my grandmother used to say when you were sick, you'd put your head over a bowl of steaming water, obviously not too close because you can burn the membranes. Right. So keeping your proper distance, and there was always pink salt in there because that would help clear the passages and the mucous membranes and everything and not dry them out.
Exactly. So if you've ever used a neti pot, it's warm salt water.
Okay, there we go.
And then you tilt your head, and it's kind of gross, and people don't want to try it for the first time. But it rinses out your sinuses, and it's the best clearing you can do during allergy season or when you have a cold and you're all stuffed up and you need to just get the gunk out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. And so back to the labradorite.
Labradorite, yes.
And so being energy. It's so pretty. On this side, it's a like a teal blue, and it's got little bits of gold through it. So it's really pretty on this side. I'm looking at the different colors, and you can catch it on the edges. It's almost like it's lit from within.
It seems like a magical stone, and that's why I was drawn to it when I first saw it. I go into a crystal shop, and
I've seen you hover. You hover. You just kind of hover, and then boom, next thing I know, you're next to a certain stone or a crystal, and you're there and touching and feeling and looking, and usually that's the one you walk out with.
Yeah. So when you're sensitive to energies, and all of these crystals, everything in the world has a vibration.
Energy. Absolutely.
And an energy.
Yeah.
And I remember watching science fiction shows as a kid that had alien life forms that were crystalline in nature instead of carbon. And I'm like, and there are some people that think that these crystals are alive on a certain level.
So, you're right. Vibrationally.
They're inorganic to us, but on a certain vibrational level, they do have a life.
Interesting.
Yeah. So the labradorite, according to the Crystal Bible by Judy Hall.
Right. I have the Crystal Handbook by Judy Hall.
Yeah. So it's an iridescent stone that's highly mystical and protective, a bringer of light. It raises consciousness and connects with universal energies. Labradorite deflects unwanted energies from the aura and prevents energy leakage. It forms a barrier to negative energies shed during therapy. You can take it into another world or onto other lives if you're doing like past life regression or something like that. And it's a stone of esoteric knowledge. It facilitates initiation into the mysteries.
Wow. So, no different than praying and prayer beads and rosaries. No different.
No, I mean, so people who think that crystals are somehow evil, satanic. No. I mean,
it's what you do with it. It's what you attach to it.
It's all about the intention. I mean, so if you are using this as a tool to purify your aura and magnify your own ability to love someone else, I don't see anything wrong with that.
Correct. I agree. Well, I'm going to tell you about my little doodads. So we go to crystal shows every 2 months, and they make these little silver cages, and I like those. And I buy small pieces in there as Shanghai. And I like to make charms of them to absorb bad energy, but I also put a St. Michael's medal on it so that you can ask St. Michael to protect you. And I put it on a wire or whatever I happen to do, and I hang it on the mirror. And all my kids have them on there. My mom, my friend, you have one.
Yep.
And we let them hang there, and we just allow it to keep us safe in our cars. It's an opportunity
it worked this
to pray.
afternoon because it may have kept me from an accident on the way over here. The traffic was really backed up.
Wow.
Yeah.
So whichever way, you've got the crystal to help with the energies, and you've got the medal to pray to, St. Michael's, and so all is good. Do you want to ring us out? I love the sound of that bell.
So yes, it's very clear.
So you can go to any store and find a bell, a singing bowl, or anything like that, like a crystal glass, the sound. Find the one that you like, the one that makes you feel good, and that's something you want to keep near you. Ring it when you need to. Ring it when you need that pleasant sound. Ring it when you need that vibration in your head. You need to hear that beautiful sound.
Right.
My goodness. Thank you so much for coming and sharing this with us.
You're welcome.
I'd love to have you come back because we never even got to any essential oils.
That's another whole show.
That's another whole show. So I think, let's get you back here and let's talk about some essential oils. And maybe by then I'll have a singing bowl.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for joining me.
Welcome.
I appreciate it. Have an absolutely spectacular day, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this show. A little bit different, a little bit woo-woo. But you know what? Who doesn't need a little bit in their life? See you next time.